Alright guys, let me be honest with you. I do not have the time to review all the Fast and Furious movies. Maybe I will in the future, but that having been said, let's talk about some insane shit. Furious 7 is the 7th installment, just grasp that for a moment, of this insane franchise. And they keep getting bigger and bigger. The film stars Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, Tyrese Gibson, Ludacris, and Michelle Rodriguez. Now, to narrow down the plot of this movie is very simple, because it is a simple and mindless plot, but I will give it a shot. As we saw in the end of Furious 6 or Fast and Furious 6 or whatever you want to call it, one of Vin Diesel or Dominic Toretto's crew members got killed by Jason Statham, so now Vin Diesel wants to go after him. But then Kurt Russell pops up and he's like, you know what? I want to recruit your team to help me find this really awesome tracking device program, and in return I'll help you catch Jason Statham. So that's essentially the plot. As I said before, these movies get crazier and crazier, and this one is really no exception. It's insane. You really have to suspend your disbelief because it's insane shit. Half of the time I was like, holy shit, they're actually doing this. Cars just jumping out of planes on parachutes and everything's shooting and exploding, and they're improbable stunts, like there's a car jumping from one tower to another and of course no one gets hurt. You have The Rock and his arm is in a cast, but he just rips it open and he's back in business. But you're used to this shit right now. If you have seen the last movie, they took down a tank and an airplane. So yeah, that's what you're in for. If you expect anything else than this, that's on you. The dialogue in this movie is it's interesting because part of it is actually genuinely funny, especially all the scenes involving Tyrese. Tyrese has really extremely good comedic timing. Other times the dialogue is just straight up, it's horrible. The one-liners, oh my god. Vin Diesel, he's the new Schwarzenegger after this film. He's always like, this is my family. Did I mention it's family? I ain't got friends. I got family. The Rock's character also gets more cartoony with every single one of these movies. He's all like, let's talk about the new addition. Jason Statham as a villain. I actually loved him in this movie, which is interesting because now these movies seem to be like the Expendables. Look at the cast. We got Vin Diesel, The Rock, and Jason Statham. Yeah, that's pretty expendable-ish. But yeah, the cool thing about Jason Statham's character is that he actually does shit, and when he throws down, it is cool. He reminded me actually a little bit of the Winter Soldier from Captain America 2, because he would just pop out of nowhere and start beating the shit out of everyone, which is a very cool thing. What's another big positive of these movies in general is the fact that all the cast members, they just love each other, and you can tell. They throw out the word family all the time, but it's actually genuine because these people are a family off-screen and on-screen, and it totally translates. Now I feel I have to touch on a very serious topic and talk about the elephant in the room. We all know that during the making of this film, Paul Walker passed away in a tragic car accident. So the elephant in the room is, how did they handle his death? How did it impact the story? And how did they treat his character? I think what they did with Paul Walker's character and with the entire situation is something that is truly, truly respectful, which is also such a difficult thing to do, because the movie essentially is a very stupid one. It's about stupid action, it's about cheesy one-liners and over-the-top madness. But when it came to a conclusion, it was actually very touching, and I saw people tearing up. So they did a very, very good job. Of course, the plot felt convoluted, and you could tell, I could tell when Paul Walker wasn't actually on screen and they used CGI techniques and some stand-ins. But I will not refer to these as negatives to the movie, because that would just be unconscionable. I mean, they did the best they could, and they put so much love into it, and it just wouldn't feel right to criticize that. My two main criticisms towards this film are actually two things. First of all, The Rock was not in it enough. He was in the very beginning of the movie, and he returns towards the end. So I think it was a bit of a cheat to have him on all the posters. It was sort of a bait and switch. It was not fair to do that to the audience. Since this is the first movie directed by James Wan, who is known for horror movies like Saw, Insidious, or The Conjuring, the action looks very different from Justin Lin. In terms of the car chase sequences, James Wan did a magnificent job because they look gritty, they look very intense, and I like this whole team aspect where they work together. That was very well done. However, some of the hand-to-hand combat just seemed too quickly shot. They have such a high frame rate that you're like, wait, what? So all in all, I gotta say, if you like the sixth and the fifth one, you will definitely love Furious 7. The plot is as thin as usual. You have over-the-top nonsense action and partially abysmal dialogue, but the good thing is that the movie even addresses this. The movie knows how cheesy it is, and the movie is very self-aware. On the other hand, you have a cast that truly loves each other and just works well. Of course, they gave Paul Walker the best send-off they possibly could, and that was something that made me appreciate the movie even more. So I gotta say, Furious 7 is in fact a great time. Guys, thank you as always for watching, and if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then just hit subscribe.